Hi everyone, it's Lavinia. Welcome to today's video. I am participating in the Inktober 2025 challenge with different Zentangles for every day of the month. We are now at day 17, and today's Zentangle is called SWiSit, and that is a capital S. And I think it's a shortened version for Stick With It. It's a very fun Zentangle. I've never drew it before, so that's one of the fun things of this particular monthly challenge is I'm learning some new Zentangles. I have my bijou tile, so I will be drawing it on here. I have a couple of graphite pencils, a 2B and a 4B, so I'll be using one of those. And I also have a couple of Micron PN pens. One is in black, one is in pink. I use the pink one here, and I will be using the pink one on the calendar. And I will be using just the black one without graphite on the bijou tile. So one of the first things you have to decide is we're going to be really just drawing these little swirls within this little closed little fescue, so to speak. And you're just going to be going in one direction. So you can either choose to have this little spiral go towards the left or towards the right. But whichever one you decide, you're not mixing it up. For this particular Zentangle, you're just going to continue in that one direction. And then what I did here on this particular one is I love my little orbs, so I added them throughout, and then just some little dots here and there, and then I added the graphite and blended that in. So very simple. Let's go ahead to the calendar and let's break it down. All right, so I'm here with my calendar. I'm using my pink Micron PN pen, and because we want to be able to have the tingles or the drawings also come here towards the bottom, I'm going to start somewhere in the middle first. I am going to have my swirls come towards the right, but you most certainly can have that go towards the left. So I'm just going to pretty much just pick a spot and just come on around. I'm making that little teardrop loop and then inking it in. If you need to rotate your paper, of course, go ahead and do that, whatever's more comfortable for you. And I'm just going to go ahead and continue that. Maybe I will actually continue here from the top. One thing with this is that you want it to be three-dimensional, so to speak. So I'm not going to be drawing that line here. I'm keeping that as if it is behind this first spiral. So it's like I'm pretending that that goes around and then it comes back up here, and then I'm forming that little loop. Okay. And then we can make different sizes. So perhaps this one comes up way up, making that spiral and closing that little teardrop right there. And I'm going to rotate the page. Maybe there's a smaller one here, like that. And maybe there's one that's coming up from this way, is coming behind this one, and ending up there, like that. Going to turn that and just going to go ahead and continue. So maybe from here, closing that little loop there. And then perhaps this one is coming behind that one. Just like that. And then here too, let's go ahead and put a little smaller one. Going to rotate that. Put in a much larger one here. Having that come just about around it. And then how about we have this one come behind here like that. And then this one. So again, there's no right or wrong in here, just wherever you feel that you want to have that spiral go. Maybe a little smaller one here. And perhaps there's another one that comes on over. So you can add as many spirals as you'd like. I think I'm going to add just another one here. See if it comes around. And then that little teardrop there. So this is what it's looking like. And then what I'm going to do, I think, is just thicken up some of these middle lines. You don't have to do this. This is just something that I wanted to do. And then I'm just going to come in and add those orbs. Again, this is just an embellishment that I like to add. So right there. And perhaps there's one over here and over here. And then also what I had done is I just added a few little dots of embellishment here and there. You can give it an aura if you wanted to. So that's there. And now I'm just going to grab my graphite. So I will use the graphite on here because I use the ink pen in color. And for example, this is behind this one. So maybe I will add just a little bit of graphite there. This isn't in front of this one here. So just a little bit of graphite wherever you think one might be behind the other, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And here where the orbs are, I'm going to put just a little bit of graphite as well. And perhaps under the spiral, you might want to do that too. I'm not going to put too much graphite on this one. And then I just have here my blending stump. And just go over that just a little bit. And this one also is just a very pretty Zentangle that I think you'll enjoy drawing and embellishing. Maybe just a little bit there with the graphite that I already have on the blending stump. Okay, so this is SWiSit, and again, I'll have to figure out a spot to put the name of it in there. But this again is a very pretty Zentangle. So now I have here the Zentangle tile. So let's go ahead and I'm going to use my black micron pen for this. And so this is spelled, it's with a capital S, almost like the swirls. All right, and this is day 17 of October 25. So just going to again pick a spot and put in my first swirl. And ink that in. You could put in as many swirls as you'd like. Maybe I'll have this one just a little bit smaller, but I'm going to add one here. And then just pretend that it comes on back. Perhaps this one. Just going around as if it's coming on around. That little connection there. Then maybe there's one that's over here. So I'm having it start here rather than here. A little smaller one. And you, of course, can keep adding to this. Maybe there is one that's behind here and comes on up this way. Okay. Really pretty. And then if you wanted to add those embellishments, of course you can. I think I'm going to put an orb here. And I'm going to ink this in. Again, you can make these lines thicker if you'd like. Give it a little bit more line weight. And I'm going to add an orb here. And maybe just another one that sits here. I can give it that little reflection. And perhaps another one that sits here. And then again, I can also add those little dots. I can give it an aura. I think on the compilation page, I will give it an aura. So that is it. This is SWiSit. Now let's go ahead and add it to this page here. So let's see. Maybe I'll add it here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick an area. And probably in my journal, I will try it going the other way. I just feel more comfortable since I'm right-handed going towards the right. So let's pick this spot here. And just go around. Turn as you need to. Just so you're comfortable. Maybe here's a smaller one. And then perhaps maybe over here, there's one that's coming out this way. Maybe it goes off the page or off that line. And I want to come into this space as well. Just so I can fill in a little bit of this area. And then here, this one is going to go behind. That. And then we'll add one here. I think it's fun having these tangles either be in front of or behind other ones. This one almost looks like a scroll. In fact, maybe we'll put just a smaller one here. And then perhaps there's one. I could go on and on with this one. It's definitely fun. I think I'm going to add just a smaller one here. And I want to put another one here. So that's really pretty. I think I am going to give it an aura, but first what I'm going to do is I want to add some of those orbs. And I'm just going to ink in these areas. And perhaps I will put one here. And I think I'm going to put a few here. And I'm going to ink that area in. And I think I will put another orb here. And I already have some down here, so that's good. And one there. Another one there. I might want to fill with an aura this area, so let's go ahead and start putting in that aura. So maybe I will start, let's go ahead and start here. So I'm just giving it that outline. I'm going to turn my page as I need to. Giving these little orbs the aura as well. Lift your pen as you need to. And so that will come down here. And then there will be that aura that comes here and here. And it'll probably come from, let's see, from here. And I think that's it as far as for the aura goes. So let's go ahead and grab our graphite pencil. So this is the number 2. And I can see already that this will be in front. This will also be in front. And this one, I'm going to give a little bit of that graphite underneath this just to give it a little bit of that dimension. So this is in front of this one. Give it a little bit of graphite here towards the middle. So let's go ahead and start adding or blending this in, and then we can always add more. We can always use our eraser if we need to and remove. So I'm just pressing that graphite into the paper. And then if I, of course, have some here, I can always add that to areas where perhaps I just want a lighter bit of the graphite. Let me turn that around so I can get a better view of it here. So I hope you give this a try. I think this is one of the friendlier versions where really you're just making those spirals and just making it go behind if your line is starting to connect. So either in front or behind as if they're solid shapes. So that is SWiSit. I really like how this section here is now starting to turn out really pretty. I did thicken this line here in the cochumbros. So here it is, SWiSit for day 17. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care. I will see you in the next one. Bye.